Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. This is actually a call that we do every Monday. We call it the WingMan Weekly. We do this at 6 p.m. If you'd like to join us, the link is in the description.
So hello everybody. Thanks for jumping in here tonight. I guess I can start with introductories. My name is Nate Hibbert. I believe my brother Steven Hibbert is on this side, or I just look like I'm pointing in the wrong direction. We are WingMan University, and we usually like to start these shows off with just doing a little bit of update about what was going on in the weekend. So Steve, if you want to share, I know you didn't have the greatest of weekends, but if you want to share what's going on, in case you have to dip, people kind of know what's up.
I am sick. It might not look like it. I have an allergic reaction to a tree that's pretty popular here in Florida. We have one in the back. I normally try to stay away from it, but when it rains heavy, it's almost like poison ivy. There's an oil on the tree and it kind of spreads all over the place. I was helping a neighbor. They were cleaning out one of their properties. I think what happened was it was just oily all over the place. So as we were cleaning up, I think I got it on my skin. That's one idea. I have a few more, but I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. But I have like a rash over most of my body. I don't know if you can really see it. It's almost like chickenpox. Like there's just small bumps all over the place. So I'm extremely itchy, sore, tired, dizzy. I told Nathaniel before we went live, I might have to cut out of here because I'm getting a little wheezy. Feel like I'm about to yak it. So if I disappear, that's why. Or I'm just tired of hearing Nathaniel that I've had enough.
Well, I was going to say, you look way better than this morning. We first jumped on our call this morning to catch up after the weekend.
Yeah, I went and lay down and I
boy.
think just re-energized myself a little bit, but I think it's the lights. I'm getting a little dizzy.
Yeah, that is rough.
But I talked to you about the book. I again am behind you. I don't know if you finished it or not or have restarted. But
Very
the
close.
Power of in Full Engagement. I can't remember the author off the top of my head, but that has been a really good book, I think, to go along with this 100 product challenge. As me and Nathaniel attempt to do new things, it's hard for me to remember how to help people getting started in POD, but this 100 listings seems like this magical number where at least if you get that number, you have a base understanding that we then can help you with. The Power of Full Engagement kind of talks about how to use energy and just be aware of the energy you're putting out, where you should put your time, how you should focus. They talk a lot about sport analogies. They don't really teach anybody like how to shoot the ball better or how to swing a club or tennis racket better, but they just talk about like the mental focus and energy and getting into like rhythms and patterns of doing things. It was a little odd in the beginning, but as I'm reading it more, it's starting to make more sense. A few weeks ago, I felt very drained. It was like we were excited about all the things that we were doing, and I was trying to put all the energy into everything, and I very quickly got like burnt out, overwhelmed. Reading this book helped me compartmentalize some of these things and go, okay, I'm gonna put this amount of energy into this and not let it drag on. If you've been following us, I've been talking about editing quite a lot. I think I put a ton of energy into editing. I tried to do too much right out the gate, and I think I just burnt myself out and got frustrated. I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning, back to back, and I just was like, oh, this is not a good use of my time. As I'm attempting to do more parts of this business, I'm realizing that I don't have the mental focus or fortitude to do the rest of these parts of the business, and it's really starting to affect everything. And I think this is where I start making calls, and it's affecting both me and Nathaniel, and I don't want to do this. How do I now like section out the time, not let this thing take over my whole day, but just go, I'm going to put this amount of time, energy into editing with this as my end result. And if I can't get this done in this time energy, I have to reschedule it and put it at a different point in my schedule instead of just like, I have to get this done and it's going to take up all the time that it needs to get done. Just kind of switching my goals around a little bit, just going time and energy versus like what I ultimately want done. And just, if I can't get it done in that time frame, readjusting my goal to go, I can put this much time, energy into it. I get this far. Do I need to reevaluate and just move the goalpost back to where this 1% idea is, where I can just get the video done instead of trying to do a fancy transition in the beginning, do a cool intro, do what Nathaniel's doing with his preview, do a black and white. It was just like, it's doing way too much. And I think that has helped me, especially helping my mom, just go, when you're starting something new, there is a point where you just need to get the thing done and then get better as you get more things done instead of trying to make it perfect in the beginning. As a perfectionist, I struggle with this, but just this idea of 1% and this full engagement idea of just like energy and time has really re-energized me and made me see things clearer and just go, I time and energy is how I'm going to kind of set my goals. It's a weird mind shift, but it's really helped me to just enjoy life and feel like I have a better balance, which I know that's been something that I've been struggling with for a long time, of just like I work from 6 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the morning the next day. And then life gets really scary and hairy, and I have to like drop everything and then just take a break completely for 2 days, which I don't think is the right way to do it. But just like, how can I have balance within a day? It's something that I think me and Nadeo have talked about too, as he's in Atlanta now and wants to enjoy a little bit more of his life, not like doing work 100% of your time and all your energy goes to that. And then when you do want to do some life things, you have no energy or time to do anything. And it's just, you get burnt out very quickly. I didn't mean to take that whole thing away from you. You talked
Yeah, I was
about
just letting you
values.
go.
You talked about values a little bit. And I think that conversation this morning was very interesting. I want to continue that conversation and bring more people into that conversation. Where do you guys feel your time and energy is put? And is there something that you're trying to do where it just feels like you're not getting it done? Is there a way to possibly reconsider your goals or your end goal and just go, can I get it done and be happy with it? And then just work on this 1% and getting things better. That seems to make things way easier for me now that the videos are going up and I see small improvements going. And then I think it's a little different when you can see analytics. You can like pat yourself on the back, but with POD, it's almost like you have to manually go and check those things, which I want to do better with that. But going back to this like values idea, anybody in here feel like they're not getting things done? And is there a way to re-evaluate your values and then set a new goal so you feel like you're completing things, going back to the small wins idea, and then small improvements with this 1%? So I'll ask you, Nathaniel, if you feel like you
Yeah, I
have
was going to give some
examples.
actual examples of what that means. But it looks like most people in chat are agreeing with us already. So I think that's good. And just to give my 2 cents about the book before I answer that question is, I think the book is interesting because it's not just talking about time management, which I think is something that is important, and lessons that me and Steven have learned how important it is to just set a time and do something. And then if you run out of time, instead of like giving yourself more time to do it, like just push it off to the next day or the next time or day that you have time to do that. But it talks about the energy management as well and what that means as far as like, can you be engaged for that time that you've set aside? So just another plug for this book. I think we talked about it for the last like 2 months, as it's been very helpful for us. If you want to just restate that so I don't misquote you.
Just where do you feel like you're putting time and energy? Is there something that has been taking up too much of your time? Are you setting new goals for it? And are you getting it to where it's done, or at least a place where you feel it's complete? And are you starting to apply this 1% idea? I'm doing it with editing. I'm doing it with other parts of our business. It just makes me feel a lot better where it's like, okay, I completed this. That's a win. It re-energizes me instead of, I know talking to mom, she was saying like, it's getting hard for her to continue on because she's not getting the sales that she wants. But then just asking her like, are you able to find your books? Oh, yes. Like showing her that she is having a lot of small wins. She's just overlooking them. And I think if you reassess your goal, it makes it easier to continue on.
I think a lot of people run into that, especially with print on demand. That was something that we ran into after a while of just like, okay, we're doing all this stuff and we're making some sales, but we're not having the sales that we want. So kind of changing the ruler of which you're measuring your success. That was one thing that I pulled from the book is like, it's not necessary. Like I just need to know what sales we're having, and that just dictates my mood. Like whether it was a good day or a good week or a bad week, based solely on the sales that we're having. Like there's so much other things that we're doing, and having a ruler or a way to see the value of that stuff as well is extremely important. And yeah, I think that's why we both love this idea of 1%, because like you with the videos, like it's, yes, we want to push out these videos, but it's not just, did we get out a video? It's like, was this 1% better? And I don't know, I love working with you. You say that all the time, of just the fact that we can ask each other, like you can look at my latest videos and be like, was that 1% better, or am I just like kind of stagnant now with this formula that I've built? I don't think it's wrong to have a formula and to work off that formula, but this idea of like, let's just continuously get better, because there are so many more leaps that we can take and make the quality of what we're doing better. For me, I've been doing a lot of client work, so creating Shopify stores for people, which entails like setting up the deals, which is not my favorite thing to do. That's a video idea that I think is going to come out Thursday, me talking about some clients that I've had that were particularly frustrating for some of the other jobs that I've had, and just kind of wanting to avoid that stuff. But I've been doing some of that again and working with them for how does the Shopify website look, or the actual like website where the merch is going to look, how does the actual merchandise look, like all the different products, all the different designs, like that's just been a big undertaking and has taken me a while to feel like I can firmly plant my feet as like, yes, I'm a knowledgeable person in this area. I was going to say professional. I don't know if I would say all that yet. I'm a knowledgeable person in this area, and I can help you go from like just idea in your head all the way to having a store with your own custom domain and all your own products and all those things, from multiple print-on-demand vendors and all these cool things that we're able to do now with Shopify, or learning to do with Shopify. But the first couple that I set up for myself, like, they were not the greatest. I'm glad I didn't show them to anybody. The first couple of customers or clients that we had were like nonprofits and people who had very low expectations. So that was good. And now that we're working with some bigger names and people going to some major events, it's a lot cooler to see, it's a little frustrating. Like, they're asking for complete redesigns of stuff that has taken hours and hours to do. But at least things are moving forward, and I feel confident that I can do that work. But it's just because I use this mindset from the very beginning of like, I'm just putting this first one up here to see like how fast it crashes and burns, and definitely did. And then getting 1% better, as we're now, haven't made a ton of these stores, but enough of them to feel comfortable. It's like, okay, this is what it takes to set up a new one. This is where all the stuff is. And there's still so much to learn, but at least the foundation is laid, and we're still trying to get 1% better. So
yeah, I guess it's another way of just framing,
how I'm
like,
applying it.
do things and do them poorly, and be okay with doing things bad in the beginning. It might be a little hard to understand that, but the idea of asking yourself, how much time and energy am I willing to put into this? What is a goal that I can set for myself? Knowing that I'm just willing to do something and get it done, even if I don't feel like it's excellent or great, or if you're a perfectionist like me, like, it's okay to just get something up and then try to incrementally make it better. I think that's why I really like that small wins, getting that small wins now with this book, like having a way to like explain small wins a little bit better instead of like getting a sale. Like, that is a big win. It might seem like a small step to you, especially when you're starting off, like getting a sale seems like the first step, but there's so many smaller steps before that. And I think me and Nathaniel sometimes struggle with is helping people at the beginning. I think we have started many years ago, and it's hard to remember what it's like getting started. As I was helping my mother, and then the conversation I had with her today just made me realize, like, there's so many small things that you need to have like a foundation for me to even like help you to this next step. I have that vision of the mountain where it's like, I'm kind of still near the beginning of the base of the mountain where I'm trying to reach my ultimate goal, but I can't reach all the way down to the person just starting out, because I'm kind of like a little farther up the path. I can help the people right behind me, and I can get help from the people right above me, but I can't reach all the way up to the top. It's hard for me to listen to them and gain any kind of knowledge from it. And it's hard for me to talk to somebody who's just getting started, because it's like, okay, well, you need to rappel, you need to do all these things. Like, I don't know any of that. Like, what rope do I need? What do I need to have something on my physical body? What is that called? Like, I'm just like, oh, I forget that completely. I talked to Mom a little bit about math analogy, because as I was teaching her, I was like, this is kind of math to me. I've gotten it to where it's like trigonometry or calculus, where it's like this high level math, but she was asking me like 1 + 1. And she's like, isn't 1 + 1 2? And I'm like, yes, theoretically, but you're playing in somebody else's sandbox. So it's like a kind of constantly changing answer. So 1 + 1 should equal 2, but because we don't know, it's like behind the scenes, you have to guess at it. And the more you guess at it, the better you get at it and the better understanding you get. But it's still a guess. Getting people started from this like beginning position is difficult for us because we've been doing it for a while. But talking to Christy, who's our special guest, that I feel like that's her gift. She's helped a lot of people get started in a lot of different selling ways, OA, RA, online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, selling through FBA. She's heard our ramblings for a long time about POD and has been able to create her own, I don't want to say completely automated POD business, but it's pretty hands off the way that she runs her POD business.
Hey.
And I'm very excited to bring her on as a partner for us to help give people that are just starting out a place to go, and that she can guide you. She, I think, has the gift of helping people just getting started and the ability to speak life into you, speak energy into you, be able to kind of meet you where you're at. I don't want to say me that they lack that gift, but it's more difficult for us. And I feel like that's her, she says it all the time. I'm trying to think of the word,
Genius.
gift of genius.
Zone of genius.
Zone of genius. I feel like that's your zone of genius, is to help newer people getting started and just being able to break things down into smaller bite-sized pieces so they can move forward, and you can just go alongside them. Like our Wingman monogram is come alongside people. We don't want to lead the charge, but we do want to come alongside you. I feel like Christy is definitely the person that we want to partner with to help people with that true saying, to come alongside you with those people just getting started.
I am so happy to be here, by the way, because I don't get like upset very often. I really don't. But technology is thwarting me right now. Messenger is down for us. And so no communication, trying to get back and forth, restarting the computer, all those things. And so here's the lesson out of this. Perseverance pays off, right? So I could have just thrown up my hands and said, you know what? I'm
tonight.
Not happening. Somebody's really not wanting me to get on this webinar, or, I can just keep on plugging away until I reached who I needed to reach, and we got to this place where I could actually be here.
Well, we're happy to have you.
I am happy to be here. Stephen, thanks for the things that you said, by the way. I think, it's interesting. We talked a little bit earlier about trying to remember how we connected. Where was that first connection? I still haven't discovered it. But what I did discover, but it was at least a year and a half ago, in March of 2018. It was at least that long ago. And I think it was probably right around that time. And again, I'm going to have to find it because now it's going to drive me nuts. But I felt like from the very beginning, from like the very, very beginning of when we met, I could just feel your guys' spirit and just your servant hearts and your faith and your desire to help people. And those are all things that I resonate with and that are important to me with anybody that I spend time with. And so having this opportunity to really move that into another direction or maybe even to deepen that relationship more.
Well, I like that.
That's really special. It's really special, and I'm just really looking forward to it. And I think this is a great opportunity to take a place where, we can mesh both of our gifts in a really good way. And when I say both of ours, I mean, you guys count as one in that. Our combined gifts in a way that will really serve people well. And so I'm really excited about that. And you're right. From the perspective of, I feel like my place is in working with people that are new. I think, being a parent, being a grandparent, I have developed a world of patience for teaching. And so teaching, especially things that are new or places where people feel stuck, I feel like that's a place where I can really resonate with people well. And so I'm really excited about the possibility of being able to do that in another way. And working with you guys is just like the cherry on top. So
working with my mom and doing those calls was very interesting to me, because it was, now that she's going back and watching those videos, she's coming to me and saying, oh, now I understand what you were saying. But in the beginning, like when you were telling me that stuff, it was so over my head that I couldn't even like retain the information that you were saying. Something that I'm doing with Common now is we're going through like just the research side of it. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but I almost feel like I need a different way to explain things. As we've worked with you, and as I've personally had problems and gone to you, you have the ability of just coming at it from a different angle, where it's like I almost have only one track because I've solved it, and this is the way that it works for me. It's hard for me to like put myself in those people's shoes that are just starting and then explain a problem and solve a problem in that way. But I feel like you can go alongside that person and then come at that problem from many different angles and then work with them through that problem. Yeah. I guess some people on this call might be asking, like, what does this mean for the group? Yeah. We are bringing Christy on a lot more on these calls, which I'm excited about. And we have a Facebook group that we are going to partner up more with Christy. She likes to do the inspirations on Monday. She's posting a lot in other groups. We want her to bring her gifts into our group and help those people just getting started. Me and Nathaniel joke about, I wanted people to do 1,000 listings to start. It seems like 100 is kind of that golden ticket, but I think 1,000 gets you that deeper knowledge. But Christy was even like, I think that might be too much too. And her and Nathaniel have teamed up against me to kind of come up with a different idea. So I think this partnership is exciting for me because I think I am very future thinking. Nathaniel has to constantly like reel me back. And I think with another person on Nathaniel's side to like, okay, here are actionable steps that we can give people is a much better partnership for us moving forward, especially helping newer people getting started.
And so, yeah, I think that, I'm older and slower, and
I don't agree with that saying, but
now. Tread a little bit more carefully now. That does. It allows me to be able to remember those places where you can get stuck and where you can, just really run into a brick wall. And the other thing too, I really, Stephen, I really appreciated that you mentioned this. I do Motivation Monday. And anybody that knows me well knows that I'm a really big fan of working on mindset as well as just knowledge. And so I think that that's something that, I guess on one way we take it for granted a little bit, but how important mindset is and just being able to focus and shift that can make such a big difference. And so that's, I think, something else that I can bring along with just the teaching aspect at the very beginning is just helping people to get past some of those mindset blocks, because that might really be the issue. And it isn't necessarily lack of knowledge, because we all have access to the same amount of knowledge. But it's where we're at and how we can process it that makes a difference. So
that's very interesting. I think that's why this book is so fascinating to me right now. I think with me and Nathaniel, we have a mindset of like just powering down and getting things done. I think because we can rely on each other. And I think that's why I like this community aspect, because I know how difficult this business can be by yourself, because I did it for a very long time by myself. And then when I started forcing Nathaniel to do things that I didn't like to do, it got much easier for me. But just like bringing in my family, it made the job a lot easier. And I didn't want that for people coming into this to feel alone. I wanted them to have that sense of community. And when you get stuck, to be able to reach out. I just feel slightly inadequate in certain ways when people are like, hey, I'm getting stuck here. And I go, oh, you just have to do this. When I think it might be more of a mindset. And I'm, like I said, it's been such a long time since I get started that I think it took me a long time to get that mindset. And now I'm kind of like, I found a way for it to work for me and Nathaniel, that it's hard for me to help the masses with this. The book is very interesting to me. I think it's making me think about that a lot more. Helping my mother has shown light on it, but I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, there's a hole in our game. That's why I reached out to you. I was like, I think there's something here, but I don't know how to fill it. Will you help us? And then I think all the conversation that we had, I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing, because I think you have the gift that we needed to help those newer people get to building a business, building systems, processes to grow an actual like business where you're not the only sole proprietor in it. You have a business where you have people working under you. I'm super excited about this and having you be a part of this, because I struggle with wording. And I think when I give that past Nathaniel, he can help me phrase it better. But I think the way that you talk about it and then your gifts go into it is a much better way for people coming in to not feel overwhelmed, because I'll go on a bunny trail and then I'm taking a hard left and things like, hey, you might want to come back on track. And I think with you and Nathaniel, I think it will definitely be able to get my ideas a little bit more procedural, and then we can help more people, especially getting started. I heard Nathaniel say something. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, there's a dog going crazy, so I did have myself muted for a little bit. But I just wanted to give people like perspective of what's to come. And so there's no like, step that we're trying to make you take tonight. We're announcing this. We're letting you guys know that Christy now is part of our team. She is part of the WingMan team, which we're excited about. She's going to be one of the leaders in this group, and we're going to kind of let her manage some more of the Facebook group. So if you guys have your questions, she'll probably be the one answering a lot of them. We're here to support here. We're not going anywhere. We're not turning this whole thing over to Christy or expecting her to run this by herself. But we see that she has gifts and skills that we definitely need, and are more than happy to have her join our team, and excited about her joining our team. But just like how we kind of did, what was it, 2 months of calls with you guys to figure out like kind of the next content that we want to start putting out and some of the problems that we need to solve in our community, and what content you guys would get value out of. That's kind of the same idea that we're going to be doing with Christy on our team now, is just taking a few weeks to figure out exactly what it is that we want to show you guys. It might be a week, it might be more than that, depending on how fast we can work. But we want to hear where you guys are at and what you're stuck with, and how we can partner with you guys and support you to be where you want to be, especially, as we're coming up on end of year. Making goals for next year is a great thing to do. And we just want to help you guys with that. We want to know, like I said, where you're at, how we can help you, and knowing that we have a third team member now to help support you guys who might just be starting, and allow me and Steven to move into some other areas that we're excited about and have been saying, like, we're going to talk about partnering. We're going to talk more about in-depth managing VAs and all these things that we've said for the last, I don't know, maybe 2 years. We feel confident that we can move into those things. So we're looking for more feedback from you guys. I don't know if that means we're going to do coaching calls. Maybe not, because Q4 is kind of crazy for us right now, but we do want to get feedback from you guys, and just know that we're doing this for you guys. We want to bring more value to this community, but that you are actually getting value out of what we're putting up here, and you're using this for your business and to make money. Looks like moving forward. I think we have some ideas, but we definitely
people in the
want
chat saying that they're over FBA, which I completely feel you.
Especially in
now.
Q4.
Yeah. I wouldn't drop anything. I would keep making your money wherever you can make your money. But I am excited about teaching people more of POD, and I do feel it is a way to continue to sell online without having the burden of actual products and having them build up. I see some people talking about this stock is taking over their house. That's why I have that picture of that airport hangar that's just completely empty. Our house was filled, especially the last year that we did it, with just inventory that was all over the place. I feel everybody that's struggling with FBA. I know now might be a skewed view of it because you're just getting over the Q4 hump of just like sending all that stuff in. I think Christy, before we got on the call, you said, you had another, you said 800 or something?
Yeah, 800 pounds of inventory I'm picking up on Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
So.
I will pray for you. I'm so glad we don't have to do that anymore.
I'm loving myself. It's like, oh man. Yeah, we're not quite. Actually, I don't even know whether it's going to fit my truck right now. I'm really not even sure. But you touched on a couple of things that I really want to highlight here. If you're already doing FBA and you are earning money from that, it's not a matter of, you don't want to just drop that. You do want to have, if that's not the direction we want to go, you do want to have an exit plan, and you want to be intentional about that exit plan. I think one of the things that's really great about print on demand in general, and this process of things is first of all, low risk. You don't have to spend money ahead of time to see if something's going to work and you're going to make money. There's that. There's also a couple other things that don't get talked about quite as much, but does come up as a pain point. And I'm curious, people can put here in the chat if this is your scenario. But, a lot of I have multiple sclerosis. And so sometimes for me, just the physicality of doing a work like Amazon FBA is a challenge. And so finding something like merch or KDP or, print on demand just in general is a great way for me to be able to build a business that doesn't require me to be physical. Now, I'm doing really well right now, which is why I'm picking up 800 pounds of inventory Thursday. So that's awesome and that's great. But yeah, it's not about, it doesn't have to be an or either. It doesn't have to be FBA or merch. For some people, it's an and. We're working with some people right now and providing a service that's allowing them to be, really hands off. And they're making it their and because they don't want to get out of Amazon FBA. And that's great. And that's fine. And that's good. But it's all about being intentional about what your choices and your options are. And, and deciding and planning according to what that goal is. Stephen, I love what you said there.
I'm so excited to have you be a part of this. I
Me too.
feel like you said what I was attempting to say, just way better. I know you're gonna beat me up about that after, but me and Nathaniel have very special gifts. I have a very heavy focus on analytics, data. Nathaniel has a very heavy impact on like the art and understanding the theory of art and just understanding the customer on a different level. What I think we have lacked a little bit in this teaching is just a perspective. And I think you bring that perspective of this newer person in a way that you're kind of on both sides of the fence. You started not too long ago. You listened to us. You put into action a lot of stuff that we were talking about. Now you have a successful POD business. We have been doing this for a very long time, and we didn't start with POD. We kind of came at it from a already successful selling understanding. So it was like we just applied that to POD and then just took that to the next level. But somebody like you that was doing a lot of RA and OA and not a lot of like building websites and all the other crazy stuff that we were doing, you were able to take our information, break it down and apply it to you and then start hiring VAs from there, which was very interesting to me. And I went, oh, there's something here. We've said it to a few people. They've taken it and had success with it, but it's not from the people that have like not had success with private label brands or something else. It was like, we are missing a huge demographic in the market of like, these people are selling. Now they're trying to get into POD. We kind of know that path, but we don't know exactly how to help them on that starting level. Now, I think with you seeing it and going, oh, this is a mindset thing. I think people understand the steps, but they don't know how to apply it because like my mother, just using the computer is a little difficult. I can't speak to that because even helping my mom, she was like, I need to move the thing to the thing. And I was like, you have to show me for me to understand what you're talking about. But you heard me and my mom, and you instantly knew, oh, what she's trying to do is move the tab down to split the screens. And I was like, I didn't pull any of that. Like I had to physically see it, but you could just hear it and then speak to that. I think that's why, again, I get excited about you coming in and helping us teach the new people. Because when I say, oh, make a spreadsheet, do all these things, it's like, okay, Christy can help you set up the spreadsheet. Christy can show you how to open up Google Docs or whatever thing is that you need. I think growing up with the internet and just having a deep understanding of that and being like engraved, it makes it hard for me to help people with that computer illiteracy. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's like, I can't even fathom what that's like because everything is so second nature to me. I think even talking to my mom, she was explaining that to me too. She was like, well, it's easy for you because you had a computer pretty much from birth. We didn't start with computers. Like this is a new thing to us. So all the clicks and the updates and everything, we're just like, oh, I know what's happening now, or at least I know where to get the information where it's 2 seconds and I learn it. It takes my mom time to like gather the understanding to even know what the next step is, where it's like me 2 seconds, it'll take my mom longer to do it. And it's hard for me to relate because I don't even remember a time without computers. It was just, we always had a computer. We had a computer from very early on when I was like programming DOS, where that's not the norm for a lot of people. So just with that understanding and having you come on and being able to go, oh, this is where I think they're stuck. Let's now speak to that. And then we can come up with a video or something to help those people get over that hump.
So lots of cool stuff to come. Christy, if you have anything else, I know that this conversation can go on for hours because we've been on calls with each other for hours.
4 hours.
Yeah, but I don't want to cut you off. So if you have anything you want to say before I kind of wrap up and tell people, how they can stay in touch with what we're going to be doing as a group now, the three of us.
I don't know that I have anything particularly to add to what we've said, other than to say that, to reiterate again, that I'm excited about it. And, you're right. There's a couple of places where I really choose to spend my time because I believe in the people. And this happens to be one of them. And so, I'm excited to be able to do that. I'm actually really excited to, just with the prospect of helping people in the place where I know that I do best. I think the three of us together, we could all say, our biggest desire is to serve. And we really want to serve people well. And I feel like that is the place where I serve people the best. So having an opportunity to be able to do that is really exciting for me.
Well, you've helped us a ton in the last couple of years. So we're grateful for that. And we're happy that you want to also help this community in a more major way. So like I said, we are going to be having Christy join us in our Facebook group, which is different than our page, and she'll be more active in there. We've got some ideas that we want to announce to you guys in upcoming weeks, but that's going to be the best place to stay up to date with what we have going on, and we being the three of us, but maybe mostly Christy. So we have the Facebook group. It's called the Wingman University Print on Demand. I'll actually post a link to that. We ask you guys a few questions to join that private group. It used to be paid and a bunch of things, but now we want to have more people just join that group so that we can, again, just get feedback from you guys, see where you're at, see how we can help you, and see how we can make an impact on this community and make this community even bigger and better than it is currently. So expect things to change a little bit over there, and to see Christy face some more with us in that group. So we're excited about that. Anything that I missed, Stephen, that we were going to announce?
No, I like how you wrapped that up.
Okay.
I'm excited for Christy. Thank you, brother, for sticking with me and just joining the craziness. We have more partnerships that we are working with, but I think from the 20-minute calls, from a lot of the one-on-one calls that we've had, we've seen that there is a need for people getting started. Our idea was this 100 product challenge, getting this 1% better, the mindset. That was the whole idea of bringing Christy on. I think this will blossom and develop into something. Like Nathaniel said, because it's Q4 and we're working on it. I don't know if it's tomorrow, next week, or in a month from now, but we will work on that. And as we get closer to developing something, we will definitely let this group know about it.
Yeah, so as Christy said, we're all here to help you guys. We're passionate about seeing other people have success, and we get encouragement ourselves from helping you guys and seeing the success that you're having. So we want to continue that on. We feel like Christy fits well with us. We all mesh well together, and we all kind of have the same goal to help you guys and bring value to this community. So we appreciate you, but until next week, we're going to sign off. So we'll see you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Thanks, Christy. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. Please leave us a like if you liked it, a dislike if you disliked it, subscribe to see more, and comment below if you have any questions. All right, guys, take it easy.